to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Carla, if you'll do the roll call, please.
Robert Mueller,
Here.
Dina Kreitler, Jan Vaughn, Sarah Menard,
Here.
Mary Beth Ferguson, Kelly Fowler, Laura Oliver,
Here.
Michael Hankins, Kathleen Walsh,
Here.
Beth Caldwell.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. We have the agenda before you. I would suggest one change, since Dina's not here, and we wish her a quick recovery from her surgery. That we take off the thing about the upcoming chamber training program. The dates were reported in the last month's meeting, but since Dina won't be here tonight, take that off.
Then I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda with the deletion of the chamber training program item.
Is there a second?
Second.
Sarah? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Hi, Mike. Hi. Okay, approval of minutes of the previous meeting. I think there was one change to that you had after you first put it out. It's called the original version and the amended version on the first page.
This was from the October minutes.
Okay. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Laura? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay? Thank you. Any citizens to be heard tonight?
No citizens here.
Yep. Okay. Then we'll move on to the Director of Tourism report. Sandra may cover some things that are further along in the agenda as she goes through her report.
Very likely. Well, starting out with a few statistics, you have...
Do you have an extra for her?
Hello. Hi.
So starting out with a few statistics, in November, we had 977 guests through the Welcome Center, which was, we're still up on the year. We're 8% up year to date over last year. However, this November itself was down 27% over last year November. And you can see that last year November was kind of an anomaly in terms of the number of visitors through. We certainly had better weather last year, and in addition, we had several school groups canceled this year, either because of rain dates in November or they didn't come back because of funding issues. So November was down in terms of foot traffic, but we're still up on the year-to-date, and as of last week, we passed 20,000 guests through the Welcome Center, and so it's going to make it our highest, as far as we can tell, our highest ever. We only have numbers that go back to about 2009, so we're past the 20,000 mark, which is kind of exciting. In effect, passport sales ended in November. Two of the houses, the Amaro, which had been open less and less frequently anyway, and the Gee-Board, which closes after Christmas walk weekend, will not be open again until April. So unless someone specifically, says, hey, I want to buy a passport now, I know they don't expire, sometimes we do sell them still, but not much. I just, about 2 weeks ago, returned from the Travel South trade show. This is, I remember last week I reported that this is where I was participating in the Missouri Division of Tourism booth. They have just recently joined the Travel South America association. And so I was paired up, interestingly enough, with Hannibal, Missouri, and Jefferson City, Missouri. The three of us were in kind of one pod, and there were about half a dozen pods with locations, destinations from all over the state there. So it was interesting, just really to kind of touch base with other directors about how they do things, what works for them, what's working in other parts of the state, what the state seems to be emphasizing. The state also had the wine and grape, had a specific pod there for the wine and grape board. So we got a lot of really good interest, and we have some leads that we're following up on. Likewise, next month, the American Bus Association is going to be in St. Louis, and I'll be attending that to try to gather some more interest for St. Genevieve as a destination. They're not going to do a pre-conference tour here, but they are going to take our video about St. Genevieve and play that for the delegates prior to coming in. So we're excited about that. And I'll be there, again, meeting with, this is kind of the speed date sort of a thing, meeting with these tour coordinators and also individual travel coordinators. I didn't realize before I went to this Travel South one just how these organizations plan travel for individuals. It's called FIT travel, so it's individuals who, like you might sign on for the Great River Road tour through tour company XYZ, and so it's not always just groups. Some of it is individual travel too. So that's outreach.
About how many people went through the Louisiana thing from the tour operators? Did they give you any count on that?
I think the number that I heard was like maybe 600 companies, and some of them had, more than one delegate there. We met with about, probably we had face-to-face meetings with about 50 people. And that's when they request you and you request them, and everybody's, happy to be making this connection. Laura's about to go through all this too.
So, just another question, the demographics of the people that you met with, is it primarily around Missouri, or were there any that were?
Oh, these are people, this Travel South, this was specifically their international showcase. Then they also have a domestic showcase in March.
Okay.
So this was people, they might be in Boston or Atlanta or whatever, but they're planning for, people from all over the world to come in and do either group tours or individual travel. They set it all up and make it easy for these people to do their individual travel. Unlike the American Bus Association, which is, as you would expect, people on buses on a tour. Sometimes they're going through, maybe they start out in Atlanta and they're headed for Mount Rushmore, and they might stop in St. Genevieve for a day. It's not like they're just coming to St. Genevieve as a destination. It can be a day destination on their way to somewhere else, or it could be, smaller groups. We did speak specifically about approaching it as a hub and spoke kind of, that it's easily done as a hub and spoke, because St. Louis, you can fly in there and do Hannibal, do St. Genevieve, do Columbia, whatever it is. I have to tell you that the lady who's there from representing Jefferson City, really the main thing that they talk about is the prison. Tours of the prison seem to be very of high interest, if you can only imagine. I can't. But
I think it's like a ghost tour kind of thing.
they do ghost tours, and they do
like
history
regular tours
tours
too?
too,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So, yeah.
I think that's a
actually-
trendy thing right now, though.
Prisons?
The ghost tour,
well,
the
ghost tour
prison,
kind of
yeah.
thing,
Yeah. Well, she had some scary stories, some scary individuals. Imagine this, you always hear about Alcatraz. The most people that Alcatraz ever had was like 500 or 600 people. At its highest, the Missouri State Penitentiary had something like, like 50,000 people. There were 6 men in an 8 by 10 foot cell. 2 on the bed, 2 under the bed, and 2 in the middle of the floor. Imagine that.
Sounds like growing up in a family of 6 boys.
Except you're this far away from 5 criminals, I don't know. Wow. Anyway, so it was definitely, interesting to see really how they approached everything, and really interesting to see the whole process. The whole speed dating process was interesting. At this one, you sit, they walk around, and so at ABA,
It's the other way around?
yeah, suppliers walk around and the appointment takers sit. So, Fleur-de-lis Bucks were launched in conjunction with the Holiday Christmas Festival. We've already sold a couple of $100 worth, so we're very excited about that. These are the nickel, the $5 wooden nickels, and they are accepted at most of the shops in downtown St. Genevieve and all the wineries, so the Route de Vin, and in addition, Water Tower Winery and Weingarten Winery. We've heard back from so far, so that's a good number of our wineries participating too.
Are you reaching out to, did you go to each business and ask if they wanted to participate?
And we're also ordering stickers for the business windows that say, I participate in the St. Genevieve Fleur-de-Lis Bucks program. Happy to report that the Visitor's Guide PDF, which has always been on the website, is now updated. Old businesses taken off, new businesses added, and the new PDF is available on the website now. The next step that we're going to do is to cut that into smaller sections so that you don't have to download this huge PDF. I mean, you can just view it and scroll all over it. It's in 2 pages, but we're actually going to cut it down into 5 separate little sections so that it'd be easier for someone to, even if they wanted to, they could just take the piece that they wanted to download and print. Yes. So event confirmations, I'll talk about that a little bit later with upcoming events. The CTM brochure distribution on Interstate 55, this launched. We sent them our winter brochures, and for the months of December, January, and February, they'll be distributing that up and down Interstate 55. So I guess we'll see how that goes, and if we want to continue to do that. It was very reasonable. It was like $90 a month for them to, go to the trouble to put it in all those brochure racks.
So on the highways, is it just in visitor centers, or do they do it in?
Well, we send it out to visitor centers. This is mainly, remember a couple of meetings ago, I had the list of all the locations. It's like if you stayed in a hotel along Interstate 55, it would give you the St. Genevieve Visitor's Guide you could pick up, for things to see in the area. There are a couple of other places on that list too, but for the most part, it's hotels and motels along I-55.
Is Ozora still in it?
Is Ozora what?
Still in CTM?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, they used to own the box there. I didn't know. Ozora has changed hands, and I just didn't know if they were still in it or not.
They're on the list. I don't know if the new owners have changed anything.
I wouldn't think so,
So.
because they're paid something, a fee for that, and there's nobody else in that
Right.
market.
For instance, the Microtel here in St. Genevieve is on their distribution list.
Right.
All the hotels in, Festus and Perryville. So, very excited to say, remember at the last meeting I was telling you that we had a few spots left on our prepaid inventory from KMOV. We also had one Great Day St. Louis focus left, and so we've scheduled that tentatively for January 2nd. And it won't be Virginia Kerr, it will be the male host of the show. So I was planning to kind of highlight the new the new news in St. Genevieve. I was going to talk with the Hoopers and see what their place would look like as of January 2nd. So I was thinking ASL Pewter, Audubon's of St. Genevieve, maybe cruise past the Parish Center just to say that this is something else new. And then maybe also the Jean-Baptiste Valet House, since this is, again, something new that people might not have seen for St. Genevieve.
What's happening in there? Can you tour it now?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
yes. Actually, since their roof has been being replaced, the Bolduc House itself has
Oh,
been
they've kind of-
closed for almost 2 months now. And they moved the artifacts from the Bolduc that could be easily moved have been able to be seen in the Jean-Baptiste Valet House for the last couple of months. But even without those artifacts, the Jean-Baptiste Valet House is a very significant historic location. And, you know, on the previous visits, I always try to spread it around anytime we have a news crew or a video crew, you know, and different things each time. So this would definitely be something that would be different, and they haven't seen it before. So we're looking at a date of January 2nd for that, I guess barring any wickedly bad weather.
Would it be a morning time like it was the last time when Virginia came?
I think it was about 10:30 in the morning, yeah. And they were here for about an hour, so we had about 15 minutes at each location. And they get it up pretty quickly.
That's
too.
fast.
Yeah. It was up like the very next day, I think is when they showed it. So, remains to be seen, but good news is we have one more spotlight coming, and it won't cost us any additional funding to do that. And I think it comes at, you know, at a good time of the year. So. We have a new business that's going to be going in where the Sunshine Cakery was most recently, where Jody Flea had her little business. It's going to be called Main Street Storytellers. This is a gentleman, if anyone remembers, I believe it was the September or October Art Walk when there was a band featured down on Main Street called One Thin Dime. The gentleman who helped get that band here is named Brian Gray, and he has some of his photography right now in Sam Conlon's show. And so he's Main Street Storytellers is going to be a photography studio, gallery, as well as he wants to start doing some led tours, including history tours and ghost tours and things like that. So kind of following what you said about that trend of interest in that. So he has a lot of really neat ideas, and I told him about what we were doing last summer in terms of the Saturdays in St. Genevieve program. He was very interested in that. So I think
What's his
it'll
name?
definitely be Brian Gray. And his wife's name is Emily.
When's that happening?
He's probably going to come in after the first of the year. Told him it's a slow time of the year to start a business, but he's, I'm not sure, he's in the healthcare profession in St. Louis, and so he's doing this as he has time to get it started. And I think eventually they'd like to spend more time here. And congratulations, of course, to the Audubons for a successful opening weekend. Looked like you were busy all
It was.
weekend.
It was really neat. It's nice to see some
To see what?
cars downtown on that car at night.
I think that's it in terms of, so then I included some statistics for you here in terms of the Welcome Center visitors, and then October and November, this is just a subset of the larger listing of expenses that these are ones that are primarily have a revenue and a expense associated with it for tourism.
Sandra, did you happen to see over the Christmas festival weekend that at the Rozier Building, they had it staged?
Yes,
Isn't it?
yes, it was beautiful.
Beautiful, yeah.
And the lights on the outside.
Oh, it's
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
The lighting
Yeah.
makes a big difference.
Yeah, those lights at night are really nice.
Yes.
And I think there's been a determination of the naming, because they had a contest, I think.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's going to be the Duberg Center.
Okay.
That's what that we heard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a hard time not calling it the Rozier.
Well, yeah.
Duberg Center.
Yeah.
Or the 5 and dime.
Okay.
We always came back to see Dad. The kids always wanted money to go down to the Rozier store.
That's right.
Buy some.
Well, and I think their first big event is going to be on New Year's Eve. And so, I don't know, I'm hoping the place looks presentable by January 2nd.
Cleanup involved.
You know how those
Just
people are.
Those people.
So I think that's it. I also wanted to, I passed out copies of the 2015 Missouri Travel Guide. The little flags are places where St. Genevieve is mentioned. And you can see on pages 113, 114, and 115, all of the attractions and businesses in St. Genevieve that are listed on, they're going to be listed on the Visit Mo website in addition to in this print magazine. And I contacted all of our local lodging establishments and asked if they wanted to have a highlighted listing. And we also asked for them to give us, well, we had to pay for the privilege, but you see on page 113, French Colonial St. Genevieve, just 1 hour south of St. Louis. Charming St. Genevieve is Missouri's oldest town. Enjoy rare architecture, more than 25 quaint shops, 10 award-winning wineries and microbreweries, festivals, antique malls, and bed and breakfast inn. Visit stgen.com. So we paid a little extra to have that highlighted so it would stand out from the rest of the page. But I think it was well worth it, and certainly hope that we see some responses from that.
We're going to talk about this a little bit later too for next year. So, anything new on the downtown tear-off map?
Oh, I got the last quote in that we've been waiting for, just came in this week. And so I would say we'll probably be ready to go, have those printed pretty soon. Those are going to be so that it's like an 8.5 by 11 sheet with the map that you can tear it off and give to someone in case somebody doesn't need the whole visitor's guide, just to be walking around and finding their way around downtown.
Okay, any other old business? I'd like to just thank Annette Rolfe and her crew for all the work they put in to get ready for Christmas walk. At least this year we got to have it.
Yeah.
But any of these events take a tremendous amount of work. And
Yes.
so thanks to her. Okay, upcoming events. For the rest of the year, we've been through Christmas walk, and I guess the next thing is La DNA.
Yes.
I don't think they put out their schedule yet, have they?
Well, it's like last year. If anyone sees the schedule, please share it with me because we can't be guaranteed that we'll see it in advance. Do you know, Bob, will they be coming to the audience?
We've asked,
Okay.
because it was pretty traditional in the past.
Mhm.
We just hadn't heard back from Mike or Pete yet.
You have nothing shortly? Here's the other thing.
One's in February.
I think they tend to go to the same places year after year. So these are the dates that have come back in response to all of the forms that we send out. We're still waiting on a few that you can see down across the bottom there. And we've already been notified that a couple of them might be considering changing their dates. We'll consider this a work in progress. I have encouraged them to, I just saw, hopefully, I only see one root divine that's spelled root divine. See that?
It's kind of an Americanization of French. We do that all the time.
Yeah.
Oktoberfest and German Heritage Festival?
That's something that Downtown Renewal wants to work on.
We used to have a German
Autumn
fest,
days, yeah.
Autumn days.
Deutsches Tage Days, German Day. And I think Bill and Patty Maggard, they used to kind of pull that together.
I think Bill was the dumpling.
The liver Netflix, yeah.
That was their son Oliver. Remember Oliver Dumpling?
Yeah.
And that he had a costume?
That's got to be a weird costume.
Yeah, it is.
It's marked for life, but.
And actually, I think October the 6th to the 9th is German American Heritage Day in the United States.
Well, we talked actually about, you can almost start Oktoberfest in September and let it carry all the way through, kind of the way St. Charles does their Christmas festival, where it's just every single weekend for a couple of months.
Well, in Germany, Oktoberfest is really in September. It's not in October.
Well,
It's,
in fine tradition,
yeah,
that
That's in Germany.
yeah.
Yeah.
starts in, the whole thing happens in September.
Yeah.
Pretty much, maybe just one
Yeah.
day.
That's when they put the big tents up that hold 12 to 14,000 people.
In there, it's really
It's
unusual.
unbelievable.
So this is not for publication, this is in the Welcome Center list that we are developing. It's a work in progress, but I just wanted the committee members to see this. Just to see, again, the kinds of things that are being talked about for next year and the dates.
Every other year, our Sons of Union Veterans does a kind of a reenactment. We've been doing it in early May. This year, I think we're trying to move it to late September, since we kind of have a little gap in there of things to do. And just, it may be the last weekend in September, we've got to finalize that up, and just, I think it'll be fun. Again, we're just finishing the celebration of the 150th anniversary of the Civil War. Anything else on events? Okay, last month we talked about having this meeting on this date at 5:30. I wanted to kind of talk about the rest of the year for 2015. How would you all feel about having it on Tuesday nights at 5:30? We kind of conflict with landmarks, so we could, it would go too long. And the thought was maybe to just move it to Tuesday night and follow it. I know you've talked about having the Tourism Tax Commission on Tuesday.
We don't
night.
have as many meetings as you have.
Yeah. Just, how do you all feel about it?
I like Tuesday. I don't have a problem with Tuesday, and I like the evenings.
Is this time?
I like starting at 5:30.
Well, can we make a motion on this?
Mhm.
I make a motion.
Tuesdays?
Tuesdays,
Be the
5:30.
third
Be
Tuesday?
the third Tuesday is what we're set right now.
Mhm.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Why do I still have Great Day St. Louis?
I just talked about that. That is the television program.
Oh, okay. Told Senator the other day, it seems like, it's been so busy, it seems like the month has 10 days in it. We're just going, Well, feels like we finished one and the next one's due.
Yeah.
The last thing that we had on the agenda was the 2015 Visit Mode Travel Guide. This is what you were looking at. They have two things. They have an online website, and you can get on that at any time. They take certain kinds of listings out of the online and put them in this magazine, which is, I think, 300,000 is the distribution. You have to have those in by June the 1st. So if we have new businesses or ones that haven't been in there that might fit some of these categories, we need to work with them, encourage them to get in by June 1st, because I think, Sandra, somebody told you once, we probably had, they couldn't figure out how we got so many.
Well, they're all starting to figure out, if you notice, a lot more of them have more listings in here now.
So,
How do they decide what to put in and what not to put in?
well, it's some of the categories, like lodging is one, antique malls would probably be another one. I don't know if they do restaurants, wineries.
No, I mean, not all lodging, for instance, is in this list. So they must,
Well, well, I think most of our lodging should be online, the B&Bs.
Oh, they're online, yes. But in this list, for instance, and under lodging, on page 116, you're only going to see the microtel. And then, if you looked at lodging, online, you would see all of it.
Well, page 119 has all the B&Bs.
In a
No,
separate,
There's
right.
in St. Jim, Wycliffe Manor's on there, Tiger Point, there's a bunch.
and how do they decide what to highlight?
Well, the highlights are
Paid
paid,
for.
Okay.
yeah. I'm just saying that in this, they separate it out onto two separate pages. Online, it's kind of, I don't know, to me, if you put in St. Genevieve, you're going to see all of it, because it pops up when you see it.
I was just worried about the selection process for the printed media.
I think we need to work with the new B&B also, maybe see if we can get them listed. Actually, you got that's not the first one, Kaufman House all the way down. I think there's like 12 or 13 listed there.
Well, and of course, when this was done, Son and Bloom was still a B&B.
Are they no longer B&B? They didn't.
They closed.
Yes, that one, huh? You've been busy.
Any other comments on that? I just encourage you, as you're out talking to businesses, it's free advertising. That's what's nice about it. And I think the fact that we have so many of them shows that there is a vitality here in St. Genevieve. Okay, is there any other business that anybody would like to?
I have a request, I guess, for Sandra. You're going to love this. On this page you gave us with the tourism-related revenues and expenses, would you make a list for us of the expenses broken out more, like I'm going to just hypothetically, we spent $1,500 with KMOV TV. Where you've advertised for how much over the past year.
Yeah, you hate her for that, or?
No, yeah, we can do that, yeah. The thing is, so for instance, KMOV was out of the Tourism Tax Commission versus the funds that the aldermen approve, in my marketing funds there. But the reason you're asking me that, you'd like to see the advertising dollars, no matter the source of
That's
funds.
correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Sure.
And I think it'll help all of us refresh our memories as to where you've put print ads
Sure.
and where we've done radio or TV or whatever, and look at the place and the dollars. I'd really like that.
Sure.
I think Sue might be able to help.
Oh,
That
of
in
course.
one document, yeah.
Of course.
And it could be that something we all thought was just great, well, gee, nobody made a dime off of that, nobody came, nobody showed up, nobody sold anything. I think it would help go through some of those issues.
I don't think you're gonna see that detail, but you'll see who and how much.
That's good,
Right.
that's good, that's what I'm asking, who and how much.
So when someone comes into your shop, do you inquire as to how they end up here?
Yes.
So you kind of keep a...
And most people, most shopkeepers do, and you probably do too, Justine.
We do a lot more of where are you from, and then if they want to talk, they'll usually offer up, I saw something on TV or an ad or the billboard or whatever. If they don't want to talk, you're not going to get anything out of them.
Yeah.
Right.
But a lot of them do want to.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
I
yeah.
mean, they want to visit, yeah.
And when we were doing the round robin advertising that Bev started last year, that really made everyone who participated in that ask, oh, how did you find out about us? Where are you from? Because we wanted to know if we were reaching people, and those were specifically Illinois ads primarily. And yes, we did, and they were. And so that we knew that those were paying off, because people were saying, oh yeah, I'm from Belleville, wherever, Illinois people, so, yeah.
And they're usually pretty quick to tell you,
Mhm.
like if they're from Belleville and they've seen, you know, in the Belleville News Democrat, or if they've
Right.
seen in the Scott Air Force Base, whatever it might be. Or some of the other places that we tend to hit in St. Louis, like with the Webster Kirkwood Times, or
Yes.
those kind of little niche publications.
I know that Sandra and Megan will be working the next few months on entering into calendars, free calendars all around of some of these events that we have. So again, the quicker we can get those on the calendars, the better off we are.
Well, and they've already, I mean, we've had some slow days during December already, so to the ones that we can put out there, what's going on in March, April, and May, we've already started to get that out there. I mean, I'm almost always tied up with something, but if Megan has time on her hands, you know, she's always doing data entry, or, you know, we get leads and we're filling those leads and that kind of thing, so.
Did you have someone else as a fill-in? There was someone- I know
Well,
Mary Elise.
well, and Sandy Pusey,
Okay.
yeah, you might have seen her, she's usually here on Saturdays. Yeah, and then every now and then I have to get a volunteer, like if it's an art walk or something like that. Something, what were we gonna talk about the day?
Oh, the signs. Well, we're going to talk about the signs. We're gonna get the signs.
That's what I was just gonna, okay.
Yep.
You want me to? Okay. Well, so, you will probably remember, except for the new members on the committee, we had talked about earlier this year, getting together, lists of signs, like pointing directional signs that could be on a corner, let's say at the corner in front of the Welcome Center, that would point up Main Street and say, you know, there are these 2 attractions and these 5 shops, and it's all in that direction. And then another one down at the corner of, for instance, Merchant and Main Street pointing up Main Street. These things are in this direction. We had an example of that, that Kimswick has similar signage, kind of wayfinding signage, specifically in the downtown area, to let you know if you're standing, you know, up by the old brick and you've just had lunch, that there are, you know, shops all around you. And so Bob and I and Lawrence Myers had done quite a bit of work and research and so on, and Lawrence did a sketch of the, you know, what those signs might look like, with the, you know, that it would be about this long and be on a central pole and be pointing in one direction. And so I gave that sketch to a local sign specialist, and we've been waiting for a while to get a quote back on it, and I've talked with that company a couple of times, and hopefully we'll get some specifics back from them soon. But we just kind of wanted to talk about that with the committee members and see, have you seen similar examples of this from other communities that you've been to? Any ideas that you might have, concerns also maybe?
We look for places where they're kind of out of the traffic way. I mean, you can't put them on a street corner that doesn't have it, but we do have a number of places where we can do that without infringing on people's right of way.
And they're gonna be versatile as businesses change and what, right? They're plaques that you take off and on.
Each board is removable, and you can put a new one up.
Right. So do you want to talk about locations, or
Well,
do you want to?
I think we've talked about it at Third and Market, and maybe even up at Fourth and Market, but then down by the Visitor Center, in the corner at Merchant and Main, and maybe up at Third and Merchant, because we have a number of things that go each way there, and then maybe at Jefferson, we could still do one at the park there. So everyone, is that seven or eight signs. And we've also talked about, when we talk about the Amarillo House and that, and down there, we're gonna have to put some signage about, around the bridge. People think the green tree is the Amarillo House, and we just need to put a little distance to that.
Because one French building looks like another French building when they're big like that. So they get down that far and they see they see the green tree, and it's like, oh, this must be it, and then there's never anybody there, and they don't understand that it's, another 300-400 yards around the corner. So we didn't even realize that was a problem until Donna Roush shared with us that she kind of gets some of the complaints sometimes because people will go down there and assume that that's the building that they went to see, and of course it's not open, it's privately owned, and so then they come back to her and complain.
Is the Buckette Reveau, is he going to do something with that and open it up?
He's planning to,
Yeah.
yes.
So that would help, because if there was somebody on that property.
And there will be a sign that will eventually go down that way on our signboards to the back of the road.
The problem is that that's the best representation of a vertical log with a gallery all the way around. And if you read the book by Charles, the cover of the book is Buckette Reveau. And it's historic St. Louis, French historic St. Louis, but it's the Buckette Reveau house.
What's even better is there was a guy that came to the Illinois country, his name was Collot, and he drew a sketch of a mid-Mississippi Valley house, and it looks just like the Buckette Reveau. I mean, it's a dead ringer.
Yeah. Marge and Roy still have the Charles Peterson stuff. They were just here. They stayed with me last Friday.
I thought she was doing an index or something.
Yeah, she's working on it, but I wish that they would give it to the dames and they would put it in the bank. Be a great place for it.
Yep.
I mean, that would be a really big, Charles Peterson was the person that went before Congress and created a lot of the parks. But they have all of his writings and all of his papers. It's the Charles Peterson Institute. I'm sorry?
Who has his papers?
Marge and Royce have.
It's my understanding that fairly recently, Marge and Royce gave the Peterson papers to the National Park Service, and they are being held in the old courthouse archives.
I don't know. We didn't talk about it when they were here, other than the fact that I said that now that the Danes own that, I wish that they would put it here.
Well, and
Will
in talking,
House that own the Creole.
Will own the Creole. They've been going 13 years.
is it that long? Jeez.
Yes.
Time flies when you're having fun.
It's
But
his 80th birthday this month.
really,
Yeah. We're going to a party.
we could get, because this all came.
Well, here's the
Okay.
thing. I know where you're going with this, but here's the thing. If they put that here, It would be
Yes.
one more step in the fact that we should have a French park here, and it should be
Yes.
incorporated from the Green Tree down, to include the Emerald and the Paquette Rabeau House.
Absolutely.
Those properties, and with the Charles Peterson Institute papers here, and you wouldn't be able to get to them unless you were a significant researcher, because they're the kind of things that you're supposed to wear gloves and go through them. They're very valuable.
I apologize for not asking for an update on the National Park Site Study, which we were supposed to get that report out in December. I will do that and send the memo around. I was hoping for a December publication and a January public comment period. But alas, I think that's going to be beyond us.
I'll track that down, and if I can get a list of what the Park Service has, I will.
Is there any other new business? Old business?
Next week,
Okay.
and then we're going to the birthday party.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Second?
Is there a first?
Oh,
That's all right.
First, motion second.
Now you can second.
Okay, second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all, and have a
never
very
met him.
Merry
I put him
Christmas. and
together.
safe-